You were born to live as the protagonist of your own life, not as an extra in someone else's story. But when you get lost in comparisons, drown in distractions, and try to meet expectations that aren't even yours, you start to drift away from what truly matters, living your truth, in your way, on your own time. Think about it with me. If you knew you only had 1 year left to live, what would you drop right now? Which worries would suddenly lose their weight? And what would you choose to pour all your energy into starting today? It's in that kind of clarity that one of Stoicism's most powerful lessons lives. When you stop measuring yourself against others and start looking inward, everything begins to fall into place. You stop seeking approval where you will never find it, and finally begin to discover the strength that was always there, inside you. And it's in that state of presence that ideas clear up, life finds direction, and your worth stops depending on other people's gaze, because it begins to be born from within. Today, I'm going to show you 10 simple yet powerful Stoic lessons to help you protect your energy, strengthen your mind, and live with more truth, more direction, and more fulfillment. Don't waste your time focusing on everything except yourself. Choose, starting today, to put yourself first. And to turn that decision into a commitment, write this below. Today, I choose to focus on me. I am a Stoic. And before we start, I want to ask you for 2 things. Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin. 1. Everything you do in life adds up. Nothing in your routine is neutral. Everything you do or fail to do adds up. Every small action, every daily choice, is building a version of you. It's easy to think that a single day doesn't make a difference, but it does. Because what you do today is repeated tomorrow, and before you realize it, you've become what you repeatedly do. If you skip your workout when you're tired, that's fine. But if it becomes a habit, your body will feel it. If you constantly say, "I'll deal with it later," tasks pile up, and with them, your anxiety. If you demand perfection from yourself in everything, even small mistakes turn into guilt. And if you forget to take care of yourself little by little, you drift away from the person you want to be. That's what almost nobody tells you. Your life doesn't change all at once. It changes gradually, through what accumulates. You don't wake up disorganized. You gradually let things slip. You don't lose focus overnight. You give it away through small concessions. Epictetus said, "If you want to become beautiful, make beautiful choices. If you want to be excellent, make excellent choices, and do it habitually." Day after day, those decisions accumulate up there. That's the truth. Your daily choices aren't small. They're the foundation of your life. So pause for a moment and look kindly at yourself. What are you accumulating? Care or neglect? Clarity or haste? Peace or distraction? Even when nothing seems to be happening on the outside, something is always taking shape within. Each decision repeated with intention becomes a clearer path toward where you want to go. You don't need a perfect plan, you just need direction, presence, and the will not to backtrack. The good news? This works both ways. Accumulation also builds progress. Every small victory counts. Every time you choose what strengthens you, even if it seems minor, you are quietly reshaping your path from the inside out. Consistency is not about speed, it's about intentional coherence. And when that intention is repeated, even on ordinary days, it turns into transformation. The change you've been searching for doesn't start with a revolution, it starts with the next step. And if that step is the same as yesterday's, the result will be the same. But if today you choose something different, everything can change. If this lesson made sense to you, write in the comments. Today, I choose to plant what I want to harvest. Because life is a reflection of what you practice, and no one harvests excellence with mediocre habits. 2. Stop comparing yourself to others. The only race that matters is the one you run with yourself. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you take your eyes off your own path. And the worst part? you start to feel like you're either too far behind or running in the wrong direction. Social media has amplified this like never before. You open your phone and in a matter of seconds you're bombarded with images of people who seem to have everything figured out. Perfect bodies, big houses, dream vacations, flawless relationships, exciting careers. But you don't see the full truth. You're only seeing a fragment of their reality, carefully chosen and filtered to look perfect. The Stoics understood something essential. The only life you can truly evaluate is your own. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid by others." Why? Because when you stop caring about how you measure up to someone else's idea of success, you free yourself to define your own. When you compare yourself, you either inflate or diminish your worth based on an illusion. You feel proud because you're ahead of someone, or you feel inadequate because you're behind. But both feelings are a trap, because neither is rooted in reality. The truth is, there is no universal clock. There's only your clock, your timing, your journey. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste the rest of your life worrying about what others think of you." Every minute spent comparing yourself to someone else is a minute you could have used to take a step forward on your own path. So, what do you do instead? Shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, am I closer to my own goals than I was yesterday? Have I improved my discipline, my patience, my wisdom? Do my actions reflect my values, or am I chasing someone else's idea of success? When you measure yourself only against your own past, you see progress where before you only saw lack. You stop trying to catch up to others and start trying to surpass the person you were yesterday. And here's the paradox. When you stop comparing yourself, you actually improve faster. Why? Because all your energy is going into your own race, not into watching someone else run theirs. So let today be the day you step out of the comparison trap. No more racing against strangers. No more running towards someone else's finish line. Your life is not a competition, it's a creation. Write it in the comments as a declaration. I run my own race. Because the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. 3. Protect your time. You're not going to get it back. Time is the most valuable thing you have. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose possessions and replace them. You can even lose certain opportunities and find new ones. But once a single minute of your life is gone, it's gone forever. The problem is, most people live as if their time were infinite. They waste hours every day on things that don't bring them closer to anything meaningful. Mindlessly scrolling, engaging in pointless arguments, chasing other people's approval, or putting out fires in problems that aren't even theirs to solve. Seneca said it clearly. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. We don't value our days because we assume there will always be more. And yet, every day you live is one less day you have left. Ask yourself, if your time were money, how would you be spending it? Would you invest it in building something lasting, or would you throw it away on fleeting distractions? When you truly understand the value of your hours, you start protecting them fiercely. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop letting other people's urgency become your emergency. You start structuring your days around what really matters: your health, your relationships, your purpose. Here's the truth. The way you spend your time is the clearest reflection of your priorities. You can say your health matters to you, but if you never make time to exercise, the reality is, it doesn't. You can say your dreams are important, but if you spend more time consuming entertainment than working toward them, your actions reveal otherwise. So take control. Schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing whatever happens to land on your schedule. If something doesn't align with your values or your goals, learn to say no without guilt. And remember, your time isn't just yours in the abstract, it's yours right now. The hours you waste today are gone forever. The hours you protect today will shape the life you have tomorrow. Write this as a personal reminder. I will guard my time as my most precious asset. Because once you understand its value, you'll stop trading it for anything that doesn't truly matter. 4. Stop trying to control what's not in your hands and focus on what is. Much of our stress, frustration, and wasted energy comes from trying to control things that are, by nature, beyond our control. We want other people to act the way we think they should. We want circumstances to bend to our plans. We want life to unfold without surprises, obstacles, or setbacks. But reality doesn't work that way. The Stoics were crystal clear about this. There are things that are up to us and things that are not. And suffering often comes from confusing the two. You can control your effort, but not the outcome. You can control your words, but not how others interpret them. You can control your attitude, but not the circumstances you face. The more you fight against what you can't control, the more powerless you feel. But the moment you focus all your energy on what is within your reach, you become stronger, because your actions start to have real impact. Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control and others not." We control our opinion, our choice, our desire, our aversion, and, in a word, everything that is our own doing. Everything else, what other people do, what the weather is like, the economy, the past, the future, is outside of our control. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you stopped obsessing over things you can't change. Imagine how much progress you'd make if you put all that energy into things you can actually influence. This doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. It means choosing your battles wisely. It means refusing to drain your strength on fights you cannot win, so you can fight the ones you can. The next time you feel stressed, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, take action immediately, because peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest. Write this in the comments as a commitment. I will focus only on what's in my control. It's a simple shift, but it will save you years of frustration and give you back the power you always had. 5. Learn to be alone without feeling lonely. Many people fear solitude because they confuse it with loneliness. But they are not the same thing. Loneliness is the absence of others. Solitude is the presence of yourself. If you always need noise, company, or constant stimulation to feel okay, it means you haven't yet learned to feel at home within your own mind. And here's the problem. If you can't be at peace when you're alone, you'll end up tolerating relationships, environments, and habits that don't serve you, just to avoid being by yourself. The Stoics valued solitude as a tool for clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Time alone allows you to step back from the noise, reflect on your values, and make decisions without being clouded by outside influence. Being alone is when you get to know yourself without distractions. It's when you hear your own thoughts clearly enough to question them. It's when you realize which dreams are truly yours and which ones were planted there by others. The truth is, if you don't spend time alone, you risk living a life that isn't yours. You risk chasing goals that don't matter to you, staying in circles that drain you, and becoming a stranger to yourself. Learning to be alone doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world. It means being so rooted in your own company that you can choose when and with whom to share your time, without needing anyone to fill a void. So practice it. Set aside moments in your day to disconnect from everyone and everything. Leave your phone aside, sit in silence, and let your mind settle. At first you might feel restless, but that's just because you're not used to hearing yourself. The day you can sit alone without anxiety is the day you'll stop settling for people or situations just to avoid solitude. Write this as a reminder. My own company is enough. Because once you learn to be complete on your own, every connection you choose will be from freedom, not from fear. 6. Turn adversity into your teacher. Most people see difficulties as obstacles that slow them down or push them backward. But the Stoics saw them differently. They believed that adversity is not an interruption to the path, but part of the path itself. Marcus Aurelius expressed it perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every problem you face is an opportunity to develop something you wouldn't have without it. Challenges force you to be more creative, more disciplined, more patient, more resilient. Think about it. When have you grown the most in life? Usually it wasn't during your easiest seasons, but during your hardest. Those moments when you had no choice but to adapt, to push forward, to dig deeper than you thought possible. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy pain or pretend everything is fine when it's not. It means you look at each setback and ask, what is this here to teach me? If you lose your job, maybe the lesson is to diversify your income and never depend on a single source. If a relationship ends, maybe the lesson is to strengthen your self-worth so you never again need someone else to define it. If you face failure, maybe the lesson is that you were aiming in the wrong direction, and now you have the chance to correct it. Adversity strips away illusions. It forces you to confront the truth about the world, about others, and about yourself. And once you've faced truth, you can never go back to the same kind of ignorance. The difference between people who grow and people who break under adversity is perspective. The first group sees the event as a teacher. The second sees it only as punishment. But life isn't out to punish you. It's out to shape you. The Stoic approach is this: you can't control whether or not the storm comes, but you can decide whether you'll use it to learn how to navigate or let it sink you. So the next time you face a challenge, don't just ask, why me? Ask, what for? Because every obstacle has the potential to become the very thing that transforms you. Write it down as a promise. I will let every obstacle become my teacher. That's how you turn pain into wisdom and setbacks into the very steps that carry you forward. 7. Live according to your values, even when it costs you. It's easy to talk about integrity when life is comfortable. The real test comes when holding on to your principles demands sacrifice, when it costs you money, opportunities, or relationships. Many people compromise their values in small, almost invisible ways. They tell harmless lies to avoid conflict. They agree to things they don't believe in to keep the peace. They follow the crowd because standing alone feels too risky. But here's the truth. Every time you betray your values, even in tiny ways, you weaken your self-respect. And once that begins to erode, it's only a matter of time before you no longer recognize yourself. The Stoics were uncompromising in this area. Epictetus taught that the only good is moral virtue, and the only evil is moral corruption. That means it's better to lose anything else, money, comfort, approval, than to lose your integrity. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple, but not easy. Because doing the right thing often means going against convenience, against pressure, against what's popular. Living according to your values isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your actions match your beliefs, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And here's the reward. When you live in integrity, you never have to second-guess yourself. Your decisions become clearer. Your self-trust grows. You stop looking outside for approval because you know you're already living in a way you can respect. The world will tempt you to compromise. People will tell you that everybody does it, that it's not a big deal, that you have to play the game. But remember, if you have to sacrifice your values to win, you've already lost. Write this as a declaration: my values are not for sale. Because the moment you make that decision, you've chosen a path that, while harder, will always lead you to self-respect. And that's something no one can take away. 8. Stop postponing your life. The right moment is now. We love to tell ourselves that later will be better. Later when we have more money. Later when we have more time. Later when we feel ready. But later is a dangerous illusion because it convinces you that you have all the time in the world, when in reality, life is passing right now. Seneca warned, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Days slip into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, and all those things you swore you'd start someday never actually happen. The truth is, you will never feel perfectly ready. The conditions will never be perfectly aligned. There will always be uncertainty, risk, and reasons to wait. But the people who build a life they love are the ones who start anyway, imperfectly, without guarantees, with what they have right now. Think about it. How many times have you looked back and realized that if you had started when you first thought about it, you'd already be far ahead by now? The Stoics understood that time is life's most precious currency, and once it's spent, you don't get it back. That's why they lived with urgency, not panic, but purpose. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't about fear, it's about clarity, about acting now on what matters, instead of letting the days dissolve into routine and excuses. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The moment you have is this one. Start the business, write the book, call the person, change the habit, begin the journey. Write it down as a commitment. I will not wait for later. I will act now. Because the life you want is not built in the future, it's built today with the steps you take right here, right now. 9. Choose your circle wisely. Energy is contagious. The people you surround yourself with shape you far more than you realize. Their attitudes, habits, and mindset either push you forward or pull you down. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're constantly in an environment of negativity, gossip, and complacency, it's only a matter of time before you start absorbing it. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." The Stoics understood this long before. Seneca warned against keeping company with those whose habits and values weaken your own. If you want to grow, you need to be around people who challenge you, not people who keep you comfortable in mediocrity. You need people whose discipline inspires you, whose example raises your standards, whose very presence reminds you of what's possible. This doesn't mean cutting people out coldly or with arrogance. It means being intentional about who gets your time and energy. Not everyone should have equal access to you. Ask yourself, do the people around me encourage my growth or distract me from it? Do they speak about possibilities or only about limitations? Do I feel energized after being with them or drained? If someone is always pulling you into drama, complaining about everything, or mocking your ambitions, that's not harmless. It's corrosive, and over time, it will affect you. On the other hand, being around people with strong values, work ethic, and optimism will lift you, even when you're not at your best. That's the power of environment. So be selective. Protect your space like you protect your home. Invite in only those who bring value, truth, and inspiration, and be that person for others too. Write this as a personal standard. I will surround myself with people who make me better. Because the right circle doesn't just support your growth, it accelerates it. 10. Remember, you are responsible for your life. It's tempting to blame circumstances, other people, or even luck for where we are. And yes, life is not fair. Some people start with more advantages, others face more obstacles. But if you hand over the responsibility for your life to those external factors, you also hand over your power to change it. The Stoics believed deeply in personal responsibility. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond, and that response determines the quality and direction of your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That means your decisions, your habits, and your mindset are the levers you can always move, no matter your situation. Responsibility is not about self-blame, it's about self-empowerment. It's not saying everything is my fault, but my life is my responsibility. Because the moment you accept that, you stop waiting for someone else to fix it, and you start doing what you can with what you have. This doesn't mean you'll have control over every outcome, but it does mean you'll know that every step forward was yours, that you didn't just drift, you steered. From this day on, let go of the idea that someone else is coming to save you. No one is, and that's good news, because it means you have the freedom to save yourself. Write it as a declaration: I am responsible for my life. Because when you take ownership, you take back the power to create the life you truly want. These 10 Stoic lessons aren't just ideas, they're tools. Tools you can use to protect your mind, direct your actions, and build a life that feels truly yours. Remember, everything you do adds up. Stop comparing yourself to others. Protect your time. Focus on what's in your control. Learn to be alone without feeling lonely. Turn adversity into your teacher. Live according to your values. Stop postponing your life. Choose your circle wisely. Take responsibility for your life. Start with one. Practice it today. Then add another. Over time, these lessons will stop feeling like effort and start becoming who you are. Because living well isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about acting with wisdom in this one.